look at the day's headlines. We are just some 24 hours away from the first high-level inter-Korean talks in more than 2 years. The main topic of the discussions is the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics, but can the South and North also take steps to improve their strained ties? Representatives from South Korea and Japan are holding a ministerial-level meeting in Seoul today to exchange views on Japan's wartime sexual enslavement of Korean women. Tensions flared up after a local task force confirmed the previous administration had failed to listen to the victims before reaching the agreement. Plus, trying to put the brakes on the world's third-largest cryptocurrency market over fears it might burst. The South Korean government begins a 4-day inspection of 6 local banks over virtual accounts related to cryptocurrency exchanges. So we start with the big news that's likely to dominate the headlines all this week. On Tuesday, high-level officials from the two Koreas will come face-to-face for their first inter-Korean talks in more than 2 years. And ahead of the talks, Pyongyang confirmed on Sunday its list of delegates who will represent the Kim Jong-un regime. Our Kim Min-ji starts us off.
North Korea has finalized its list of officials who will participate in rare talks with South Korea scheduled for Tuesday. On Sunday, Pyongyang said its 5-member delegation will be headed by Lee Sun-kwon, chairman of the Committee for the Peaceful Reunification of the Fatherland. Lee is known as an experienced point man on inter-Korean affairs, having led the North's delegations to various cross-border talks. The North's delegation also includes Chun Jong-soo, the vice chair of the Reunification Committee, as well as Vice Sports Minister Won Gi-woo. Pyongyang's notification comes a day after South Korea confirmed its 5-member delegation that will be led by Unification Minister Cho Myung-gyun. Also on the South Korean delegation are Vice Minister of Unification Chun Hae-sung and Second Vice Minister of Sports Do Tae-gang. The two sides will meet on Tuesday at the Peace House in the truce village of Panmunjom on the South Korean side of the border. Topping the agenda will be Pyongyang's participation in next month's Winter Olympics in South Korea. And if circumstances allow, Seoul also hopes to talk about ways to improve inter-Korean relations. The diplomatic breakthrough comes after a New Year's speech by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, in which he said Pyongyang could dispatch a team to the Olympics. Soon after, Seoul extended an offer of talks, and last week a hotline between the two Koreas was restored after being shut down for almost 2 years. South Korea hopes that the upcoming talks will lead to a thaw in relations that have started following a string of nuclear missile tests and can be the starting point of resuming cross-border cooperation. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.
Now, a fishing boat carrying 4 dead North Koreans was found in waters off South Korea's eastern Ulleungdo Island on Sunday morning. Related authorities are inspecting the boat and looking to find the identities of the dead bodies. A joint investigation team says the North Koreans are not likely to be spies, adding that there's a high possibility they died after floating on waters for a while due to an engine issue. Last month, 2 North Korean men aboard a fishing boat were rescued alive in the East Sea and expressed their will to defect to the south. A consecutive set of meetings will take place between South Korean and Japanese officials in Seoul on Monday, related to North Korea and the issue of Japan's wartime sexual slavery. The first meeting will be held later this morning, and it will be between the country's 2 nuclear envoys, Lee Do-hoon from Seoul and Kenji Kanasugi from Tokyo. The two are expected to discuss Kim Jong-un's New Year's address, as well as Seoul's upcoming talks with the North on the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. Then, in the afternoon, Kanasugi will meet with Kim Young-gil, who is Seoul's Director General for Northeast Asian Affairs, to discuss a South Korean government review, which strongly criticised the 2015 agreement on the so-called comfort women issue. Tensions have flared up since, and while Seoul has been considering various options, Tokyo has said it is not willing to renegotiate the deal. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe on Sunday commented on the issue for the first time, describing the deal as a promise between 2 nations and that he wished to see Seoul fulfill it sincerely. A high-ranking official from the United Arab Emirates will arrive in Seoul this morning amid snowballing speculation about a possible bilateral feud over nuclear cooperation or military ties. Chairman of the Executive Affairs Authority of Abu Dhabi, Khaldoon Khalifa Al Mubarak, is likely to discuss pending issues between the two countries during his two-day stay, but nothing much is known at this point. One of the closest aides to the UAE's Crown Prince, the official visit comes at a time when a nagging controversy continues here in Korea over a recent visit by President Moon's chief of staff as a special envoy last month. Now, South Korea is the world's third largest market for cryptocurrencies, but with growing fears the bubble might burst, local authorities are trying to crack down on the overwhelmingly popular market. Won Jung-hwan with the details.
Korean financial authorities are set to probe 6 major local banks over virtual accounts related to cryptocurrency exchanges, taking further steps to curb speculation and crack down on money laundering. The Financial Intelligence Unit and the Financial Supervisory Service together will look into virtual accounts at banks used to transfer money to and from local crypto exchanges over the course of 4 days. These 6 lenders are Uri Kungmin Shinhan Nongyup and Industrial Bank of Korea and Korea Development Bank. Officials will be looking at whether these 6 banks carried out their obligations to prevent money laundering. They are hoping to cut off funds inflows into cryptocurrency exchanges and shut exchanges that have loopholes in their system. The backdrop of such measures is the boom in cryptocurrency transactions. The number of accounts related to cryptocurrency exchanges is 111, and their combined deposits are estimated to top $1.8 billion, making Korea one of the biggest cryptocurrency markets in the world. Some 1 million people in Korea are believed to own at least some Bitcoin, the best known of all the digital currencies. Already, such an inspection comes at a time when local authorities have already announced that they will put new regulations banning the issuance of anonymous cryptocurrency exchange accounts into effect on January 20th. It's part of follow-up measures after the government announced late last year a set of fresh measures to curb transactions of cryptocurrencies, including a possible shutdown of exchanges if necessary, amid growing fears of a bubble. Won Jung-hwan, Arirang News.
Now, there are rising concerns South Korea's high household debt-to-income ratio is threatening the future quality of life in the country. An OECD report titled How's Life in Korea says South Korea's household debt-to-income ratio is among the highest among 35 OECD countries, ranking in at number 3 on a level scale. Skyrocketing real estate prices have been cited for South Korea's high household debt. The OECD has warned that if the household debt keeps hitting new extreme highs, it may become a critical threat to the country's economic system. Now, one of Korea's best-known winter events, the Hwacheon Sancheoneo Festival, kicked off in the country's northeastern Gangwon-do province over the weekend. The county, known for being the coldest place in Korea during the winter, heats up for a few weeks of the season as hundreds of thousands of citizens descend on Hwacheon to catch some trout and to take part in all the other fun the event has to offer. Our Kim Mok-yeon went to check it out and filed this report.
This year's Hwacheon Sancheoneo Ice Festival kicked off on Saturday in the northeastern town of Hwacheon, beginning its 23-day run. The festival, into its 15th year, allows visitors a site of fierce battles during the Korean War.
Here at the festival, visitors from all over the world can be seen fishing for Sancheoneo through 19,000 small holes dug through the 30-centimeter thick ice.
This is my 5th year visiting the festival. My husband and kids love it. I only caught 2 fish, but it's okay because the weather is quite mild.
I've been here for 6 hours and I just caught one. I hope everyone catches lots of fish. Good luck.
Some visitors are even brave enough to plunge into freezing water to try and grab Sancheoneo with their bare hands.
Yeah, felt like it was the type of thing you don't really get many chances to do. So I figured, why not? Give it a try.
As well as fishing, the festival also offers some 60 programs related to sports, games, and cultural experiences. Since the festival ends just 12 days ahead of the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics, special sports programs have been laid on, including sledding and bobsleigh. The organizers say they hope the event gives the regional economy a boost.
The goal is to attract foreign tourists and help them enjoy the event. It also greatly helps the local economy and improves the lives of Hwacheon residents.
The Hwacheon Sancheoneo Ice Festival has been designated by the Culture Ministry as the premier event representing Korea for the 5th year in a row. It's grown so much over the years that it's also considered the world's 4th most famous winter festival. Kim Mo-gyan, Arirang News, Hwacheon.
Now, an explosive new report has found that global sports brand products made by North Korean workers in China have been exported to the United States for over 4 years. This comes amid toughening international pressure and sanctions applied on Pyongyang that includes restricting the use of overseas North Korean laborers. Park So-yeon reports.
North Korean workers have been making the latest products for Nike, Adidas, and Reebok under harsh working conditions in China, and we now have confirmation that these products have been exported to the United States. South Korean broadcaster YTN reports that China had been making clothing for the international sports brands in factories in Jilin province between May 2012 and September 2016. China imported North Korean workers and exploited them for cheap labor to make the sports brand products with logos that represent U.S. sports leagues.
The North Korean workers usually worked from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. When there were big orders to fill, they sometimes worked until 2 in the morning.
The North Korean laborers have been making products such as Nike clothing with NFL logos, Adidas products with NBA logos, and Reebok products with the NHL logo. During high season, clothes were even produced in North Korea's Nasong Special Economic Zone, where products were disguised as made in China.
Clothes were manufactured in North Korea's Hwacheon Special Economic Zone between June and August, the peak season.
Nike's U.S. headquarters initially denied allegations that Nike-branded clothes were manufactured in North Korean and Chinese factories. Nike wouldn't answer when South Korean reporters pushed for the nationality of the workers, even after sufficient proof was provided. Adidas headquarters that owns both Adidas and Reebok confirmed that Adidas clothing was produced at 2 of the Chinese factories, but said it could not confirm that North Korean workers were involved. Adidas refused to comment after reporters from YTN showed them a contract between the Chinese factories and North Korea's labor force provider. So it appears Americans have unknowingly been wearing products made by North Korean laborers while North Korea was testing nuclear bombs and launching ballistic missiles. Park So-yeon, Arirang News.
Now, let's take a look at the stories making headlines around the world, and we start with clashes between Islamic extremists and government troops in the southern Philippines. They have left at least 10 dead, including 9 militants and 1 soldier. For more, let's turn to our No Aram. So, Aram, can you tell us how this conflict erupted?
Well, Mark, a spokesman for the Philippine military said Sunday that about 50 members of the Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters were planning to attack a military detachment in Maguindanao on Saturday. Their planned attack was foiled after facing gunfire from soldiers from the Army's 64th Division Reconnaissance Company, who were conducting a security patrol at the time. The firefight between the BIFF and soldiers was said to have gone on for hours until around midnight local time, when the extremist group withdrew. The military was said to have also used aircraft and artillery assets. The clash resulted in 9 BIFF militants and 1 soldier being killed. Government forces have stepped up operations against the BIFF since last August in collaboration with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, which signed a peace accord with the government in 2014. The BIFF is a splinter group of the MILF and is opposed to that peace deal. Police in Sweden say a man has died after picking up a suspected hand grenade in Stockholm. Sunday's incident happened just outside the Varbygard subway station in the southern residential district of Huddinge. The man in his 60s later died in hospital, while his 45-year-old female companion sustained minor injuries. The two were said to be cycling past the suspicious object when the man stopped to investigate. Police were initially investigating the explosion as an attempted murder, but later said there was no reason to believe the couple was targeted. Police believe the incident was not terror-related and did note that the use of hand grenades amongst criminal groups in Sweden has been on the rise. Tensions in Iran continue as recent anti-government protests are being met with pro-Tehran rallies. Demonstrations showing support for the Islamic Revolution went on for a fifth day on Sunday across various cities in western Iran. Participants are taking to the streets, waving the national flag and denouncing foreign nations which have showed their support for Iranians opposed to the Tehran regime. Anti-government protests, which began peacefully late last month over economic issues, have now led to at least 20 deaths and more than 1,000 arrests. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps said in a statement on Sunday that those opposition riots have now been, quote, defeated, also blaming Western nations, especially the United States, of instigating the unrest.
Does it really take a college degree to be a successful entrepreneur? Apparently not. Let's meet some of Korea's young and talented entrepreneurs that didn't need a diploma to realize their visions. This is a multi-level shopping complex in Gyeonggi-do Province. The complex offers all kinds of products, but one captures the eye in particular. It's a self-assembly educational toy for children.
안녕하세요. 저희는 각과 길이의 제한이 없는 교구, 그리고 세상에 없는 교육을 만들어가는 대한민국 교육의 트렌드를 바꾸다 호이스토리 대표 연예은입니다.
Surprisingly, this educational toy company is run by 19-year-old Yeon Hee-yeon. Yeon visits the shop 2 to 3 times a week to meet and promote her products to the target consumers, the parents, and check market response. These creations came from the imagination of the children. From a watermill to a big wheel, anything is possible with this toy. That led many schools and parents to purchase the toy, allowing the company to make approximately $35,000 in sales in the first year of business. Yeon started this business at 15 when she was a high school freshman. What inspired her to found her own company at that tender age? Since her first invention at age 10, Yeon has been sweeping awards at various invention contests. She's also registered dozens of patents for her designs and trademarks.
I founded a talent donation volunteer group named Heading Into the Ground with some friends I met at the Kai Center for Creative Entrepreneur, and we pursued various activities together. That experience inspired me to start a new education system and business in which students become teachers and teach their friends.
Yeon started her business under the motto of sharing educational benefits with everyone, creating a curriculum in which students teach each other as well as educational toys. The CEO founded her own company while her peers went to university. According to 2016 data, 70% of Korean students attend college. Why did she choose such a different path?
I wanted to start a business and become a CEO to actualize my ideas. Therefore, I chose not to attend university and focus on making my dreams come true.
The young entrepreneur shines with immense passion and ambition. She hopes to spark change in the world's education system. To make her dreams come true, she strives to expand into global markets, starting with China and Vietnam.
I'd like to help create a society of sharing and a happy world in which more people realize their potential. That's the kind of CEO and person I'd like to be.
The 18-year-old entrepreneur Kim Min-jun is a celebrity in the startup industry.
안녕하세요. 저는 주식회사 노마드도넛 대표 김민준입니다. 저는 올해 나이는 이제 만 18세고요. 포브스가 선정한 아시아의 가장 영향력 있는 인물 30세 미만 30인 최연소 나이로 선정된 바 있습니다.
Kim founded a startup company with just $9,000 after dropping out of high school. The company made about $55,000 in sales in its first 2 months and is about to reach the $90,000 mark. Kim's colleagues are university graduates and much older, but they came to this company mesmerized by his vision. Though young, Kim is already a veteran entrepreneur. He's already run various businesses and organizations, including an internet game company he launched at age 8, a platform for medical products for Chinese consumers, and a non-profit educational organization.
I ran an organization to make good use of the money I earned. Along the way, I developed Braille books for visually impaired children at almost no cost and also created toys with filament, which eradicates malaria for African children in need. I've organized many projects to give back to society.
Creating a new invention and running a business is never easy, much less for teenagers. Nonetheless, Kim tackled all those challenges successfully and developed a folding portable 3D printer for Braille books with his close friends. The United Nations highly valued his contribution to society and invited him to a UN NGO meeting. What does university mean to this 18-year-old entrepreneur?
Students experience so much stress from the immense pressure to go to university for the sake of getting a degree and job, so I'd like to show that there are many other options.
These young entrepreneurs pursue value beyond just success. In society, they learn, grow, and acquire what university cannot offer.
Good morning. We won't be seeing any major cold snap today. Both lows and highs will be 2 to 3 degrees higher than yesterday, even hovering a couple notches higher than seasonal averages. And either rain or snow will fall across much of the country, and Seoul could see up to 5 centimeters of heavy snow fall in the evening. So it's the best if you leave your car at home for your evening commute. And as for the daily highs, Seoul will get up to 4 degrees Celsius, while Daegu will peak at 5 degrees, while other major cities could also see snowfall later in the day. And after snow and rain today, more wintry weather could be brewing for midweek, and we could see the coldest temperatures of the season starting Wednesday, and temperatures will plunge each day. With that, let's take a look at the international weather for viewers around the world. While most regions in South Korea will see either snow or rain in the evening hours, most cities in North Korea will also see snowfall along with lower single-digit morning lows and afternoon highs. And as for the rest of Asia, Beijing will see strong gusts as the morning goes on and will have a bone-chilling temperatures this week. Meanwhile, much of Sydney reached its peak temperatures on Sunday, with the city's west bearing the brunt of the heat, and things will get eased a bit on Monday. And heading to North America, the bitter cold that followed a massive snowstorm should begin to lessen in the east coast of the United States. Meanwhile, weather-related flight delays and cancellations kept many JFK passengers on the ground on Sunday. And as for South America, Sao Paulo will have much cooler readings along with showers. And taking you to Europe, those in Rome will enjoy unseasonably mild temperatures under mostly sunny skies. Lastly, to Africa, major cities on the map will enjoy mostly sunny skies except Algiers. And that's all the weather update for now.
And that's where we're going to leave the news for now as well. Our next bulletin is coming up at noon Korea time, so until then, goodbye.
A village full of exciting sports. It's Pyeongchang. Shall we take a look inside the ice kingdom of sports?